Alrighty, good morning YouTube. This is Cam from Utah Valley Tesla. I'm hoping that third time's a charm. I recorded this once earlier. It was too dark outside, so you couldn't see it. And then I recorded it again for a second time, or so I thought it was recording, and got home and found out that it wasn't. So here's the hope that this third one works. Anyways, I just wanted to go over Supercharging version 3 that was announced last night. I was pretty excited for that announcement, honestly. Even though I didn't think that it would really affect my car, as my car is just about 5 years old now. But it was announced last night, and before I get into the details of that, I wanted to go over version 2 and how it works. So version 2, when it originally came out, was able to support 120 kilowatts shared between two stalls. So what I mean by that is, at Tesla Superchargers, say there's 10 stalls, you have stalls 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, all the way up to 5A and B. And A and B is shared. So if there's 120 kilowatts available at a stall, priority goes to the first person plugged in. So if I plug in and I'm pulling 90 kilowatts, somebody else comes and plugs in, they can just get the remaining 30. Later, version 2 was announced to be able to support 135 or 145, depending on the location. And same thing, no car could accept more than 120 kilowatts, but that just upped the charging speed of the pairs. And there's a common misconception about that. I've seen a lot of people who report about being annoyed because somebody came and plugged in next to them when there were other spots open. It doesn't make a difference for that person. That person automatically gets priority. Anyway, so at 120 kilowatts, Model S and Model X can charge at about 350 miles of range per hour. The Model 3, because it's more efficient, could take the same charge rate, or it was about equal to 500 miles of range per hour. And then comes along Supercharger version 3. And that can do 250 kilowatts, so a little more than double current, obviously. The Model 3 is the only one that currently supports it because they use what are called 2170 cells. So the Model 3s can pull that full 250 kilowatts and charge at a rate of 1,000 miles per hour. Now, Model S and X have a different cell type called the 18650s, and those cannot accept the full 250 kilowatts as far as I can tell, because this update was just for Model 3. But one of the nice things is Model S and X will be getting an update along with the Superchargers themselves to be able to accept the full amount. So for example, if I'm at a Supercharger in, say, Salt Lake City, those ones support up to 145 kilowatts between the shared pair. If nobody else is sharing with me, my car will be able to pull the full 145 kilowatts. So it's about a 20% increase. I'm pretty excited about it because my car is 5 years old, and the fact that it's still going to be getting a bump in charge speed, I'm pretty grateful for. But I've seen some people who, on the flip side, are kind of annoyed that Model 3, the cheapest Tesla you can get right now, is the only one that can handle the faster speeds. I believe that those are probably the same people that are complaining about Supercharger locations being full because there's too many Model 3s. So pick your poison. I think this is a good thing for everybody. One, you still get a charge speed upgrade. But two, if Model 3s are charging twice as fast, they'll get out of there twice as fast, meaning that they're not clogging up the Supercharger locations. So yeah, I think it's a win-win for everybody. I think that, and this is just me speculating a good chunk for right now, but I think that the newest Model S and X can probably handle more than 145 kilowatts. So they might be able to get a decent speed upgrade from version 3. I also think that version 3 could probably go faster than 250 kilowatts as well. A lot of people thought that the Model 3 had the ability to pull 180 kilowatts just going off the amps and volts and whatnot. I'm not an engineer, so I don't understand all that. But that's what was speculated, was that the battery could handle 180, and here it is about to get an update to do 250. So I think kind of like with version 2, how they were limited to 120 and now they can do 140. They even said 140 on the side of the stall. I think that version 3 can probably do closer to something like 350, assuming that a vehicle can handle that. My guess would be that that's just in anticipation for the Tesla Semi and the Tesla truck when they come out. Maybe the Model Y, depending on the size of the battery. We'll find out here, hopefully in a week, more information about the Model Y, and I'll do a video on that as well. But I think the Model Y is going to have bigger batteries, hoping at least. And, of course, the Tesla Roadster 2020, that has a 200 kilowatt hour battery. I think that would be able to take more than 250 kilowatts of charge. So that's again just me speculating, but I think Tesla is kind of dumbing it down. That being said, with this announcement, if I read it correctly, or remember correctly, I should say, there's a claim that there will be thousands of superchargers made in 2019. I'm assuming that means stalls. I highly doubt that there are thousands of locations. And even then, no offense to Elon, but his goals are a little too optimistic, I guess you could say. But Elon makes these goals that are just ridiculous, and almost always he's late on them. I'm glad he sets these goals, but I think they just need to be a little more, lined up with reality. So when they say thousands of superchargers, I'd be happy to see 1,000 more stalls. We'll see, though. Time will tell. If you're like me, I like to follow where they are just because I like to see, what area is growing the most, how many stalls they're getting, easier places to travel. We travel a lot, so if you want to see that kind of information, there's a website called supercharge.info, and I'll include that in the description below. I'm not affiliated with them or anything like that. I just think it's a really good website to give you information on superchargers. You can see information from, locations that have a permit to build, locations that have started construction, completed locations, if locations are getting upgrades, things like that. It goes into detail. It shows things like how many stalls there are and things like that. Oh, which reminds me, one other thing about the superchargers themselves. So Tesla has what are called urban superchargers. They were announced 2 years ago. Usually they're in malls, as far as I can see, but they max out at 72 kilowatts. I think they're just for people who are looking at taking a bit of a longer break. I've only used one once, but they're going to continue to make those as far as I can tell. So with Supercharger version 3 coming out, I don't think that's going to change anything with the urban superchargers. It's just a little side note. I apologize I didn't include that. Apart from that, I think that's it for this video. Model Y release next week. I'm super excited about that. When I first saw the Model 3 being released and I learned about the Model Y, how it's going to be basically how the 3 is to the S, is the Y will be to the X. So it's going to be a cheaper, more affordable version of the X, basically. Most likely it'll be a crossover. But when I first heard about it, that's when I thought, oh, that's my first Tesla, that's what I'll get. And then we just couldn't wait. So we have our S. But I'm trying to decide what I should do. Should I place an order for a Y when it's open for orders? Should I wait a little bit? I don't know what to do. I can't afford both an S and a Y as much as I'd love to be able to. I just can't. So it'd be one or the other. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about right now. So we'll see what happens next week, depending on what a deposit costs. I'm guessing $1,000, just like the Model 3. And then when you go to order, another $2,500 non-refundable deposit. Time will tell. That's it for this video, though. I know I already said that, but I mean it this time. Thank you for watching. I apologize that there's been a bit of a gap between videos. Life's kind of hectic right now, in a good way. My wife's just moving business locations, and I help her out with that. And anytime she does, well, she has me build something for her. I like to do woodworking on the side. So she has me build like a desk. That's what I'm doing this time. On top of that, I work full-time and got a little baby here that I'm taking care of. And I don't know if you noticed the bike in the back, but I was just invited by my brother to do a 100-mile bike ride here, and I have 11 weeks to prep for it. I've never done a bike ride like that in my life. So I'm going to keep trying to produce videos. I really like doing it, but things are just kind of crazy. But please let me know how I can improve. Obviously, I'm still new to this. I want to do the best videos I can. Let me know if there's any content you'd like to see, any questions you have. I'd love to help out any way I can, really. So please don't hesitate to let me know. Apart from that, like, comment, subscribe, share, so I can get a few more subscribers. I'd appreciate that a ton. And I'm actually looking at doing a small giveaway just because this is a newer channel. Eventually I'd like to do bigger giveaways, but for now I'd like to do something just as a thank you to start off. If you have any ideas on something fairly reasonable, please let me know. I would love to thank those who support me, even if it's just by clicking like or watching. I want to support back. So, yeah, hope everybody has a great day. And again, thanks for watching. And we'll see you hopefully in about a week with a video on the Model Y.